Of all the Banggood kits that I've built over the years, this is probably the best. It's certainly been the most useful. It's a large screen clock with LEDs, as you can see there, blinking away, probably out of sync with the camera. I thought I'd done a video of this when I first got it, a full build video, but I can't find it. So I actually bought another one and built it before doing this video in the belief that I'd already done a build video, but I hadn't. So anyway, let's have a look at the new one. Okay, so these are the two clocks. This is the one that I built quite some time ago, and this is a new one. And you can see immediately they're quite different because of the cover over the screen. This has got like a smoked acrylic coloured plate, and you can also see that there are holes drilled above the LEDs, which is what I did when I got it. And the reason I did that is that this acrylic smoked plastic is actually quite dark, and I found it was not particularly easy to read. Now, I don't know what's easier to the human eye, whether it's red light or blue light, but certainly for me, blue is a lot easier. Now you can see on this one, this is clear acrylic, and this is what I did myself. They're all supplied with this smoky colour. It's showing a lot of crack in this one. And I decided just to buy a bit of acrylic, and managed to scratch it there, but never mind. And just put a clear acrylic cover on it, which makes it a darn sight easier to see and a lot brighter. But this clock, I don't know how many years ago I did this. It was quite a while ago, and this has been running 24/7. It keeps brilliant time, absolutely excellent time. The only time I have to change it is when we get daylight savings time, so I have to move this forward or back an hour depending on what time of year it is, and that's it. Other than that, it just runs all the time, and it's great. And I just fancy getting another one, and this time a blue one. I think they do yellow as well, so I think it's red, blue, yellow is the colours they got. Obviously it's Banggood. Yeah, I was looking through my videos, but I couldn't find one building this, so I must have done this fairly early on before I really started making videos of my kit builds. So unfortunately I've already built this one, but what I will do is I will take it apart and show you the construction and point out any of the particular things that you need to keep an eye out for when you're putting this kit together. As you can see through the clear plastic cover, there are a lot of resistors, there's a lot of LEDs, it's all through hole, so it's quite easy to make, and you couldn't want for a better kit when it comes to practicing soldering. You know, from that perspective, it's pretty nice. But they're rugged metal cases. They come with standoffs and all sorts of clever stuff. Anyway, I'll pull this one apart and I'll show you the construction of it. And as I say, point out any of the oddities and points of order that you need to notice. And I'll also try and link the user manual or the construction manual, or instructions if you like, on how to put it together in the description if I remember to do that. So let's open this one up and have a look. Okay, so let's take this one apart. Now let's first of all unplug it. I actually put, one of the things that I did find with these kits is that they give you a lead, a USB lead. So any 5-volt USB supply is absolutely fine. The current draw on it is going to be very minimal, but I did find it a bit short, so I did extend it. Just got an old USB lead and basically chopped it in there. It doesn't look very pretty there with the insulation tape, but underneath it is properly heat shrinked and a good strong connection, so that's what's going on there. But I thought I'd just mention that. And to actually get into it is quite simple. I just find everything about this kit, I don't know what it is, it's just very, it's simple in terms of its display. It's obviously a very large display, very clear to read. It's got an alarm in it if you want to. The actual buzzer for the alarm is ear-piercingly loud, too loud in many respects. I don't use it as an alarm clock, so I've got all that functionality turned off. And the other thing is that you could actually, if you've got a long enough lead, or you make a long enough lead and run that off to a 5-volt USB supply, you could actually mount this up high up on a wall out of arm's length, because it's actually provided with, again, which is part of the kit, a remote control. So you can alter the time and all the rest of it just using that remote control, which just takes a CR2025 or something like that battery. Again, very simple through-hole construction. You can see there how bright that is. Let's see if we can get a bit more light on the beastie. Yeah, so I probably won't take this apart, but you can see that everything is just through-hole components. There's one chip in there which is socketed, so that's nice and easy. The infrared LED or diode there. Single transistor. It's very straightforward, and a battery holder there for the little lithium battery. And you can see the actual construction of it there in terms of the brass standoffs and a nut to hold the bottom plate away from the PCB. It's basic, but it's more than functional. As I say, I've had one of these running for ages, and so I've got 2 of these, one for each kit, and they work on both. You've got them both close together, you could probably change the time of them at exactly the same time, because they obviously all use the same frequency. Anyway, so here's the construction of the kit. That's a bit of Captain tape I put on the bottom of this daughter board, just to make sure that there's no chance of it shorting out against the metal case. And this is a nice solid metal case. Nothing fantastic, it's just a plate of metal, and it's bent up at each corner to form a box to put it in. Very straightforward. You can see the brass standoffs to bring it above the bottom of the case, because you need the room for this daughter board, and a whole bunch of LEDs and resistors. Now, some of these resistors you need to keep an eye out for. Is this in focus? I think it is. Oops, there we go. It's a bit better focus. All of these resistors are the same value. I can't remember what the value was. However, a few of them are different. Now, when you get the kit, you'll see that all of the resistors have got an R number, R whatever, R2, 34, something like that. And I think it's in blocks, so that'll be block 1, block 2, block 3, block 4. But there's about 5 or 6 resistors that are of a different value to the rest. And those are marked on the PCB as a blank box. They have nothing in there. So if you look out for the blank boxes, that's where the smaller number of different value resistors go into. I think that might be one there, RF. I think that's one of them there. So yeah, you can see that there's no writing on the screen printing there on that particular resistor, but the rest of them have got a number on them, and all of them are exactly the same value. Don't know if I can find a resistor that I haven't soldered down well enough to allow you to see the yeah, you can kind of see some writing just there, and that is R4F3, and it's R4 because it's the 4th block of the 8-digit display, or the display. like that. So in terms of all the resistors, that's the only thing to take notice of, that if the resistor is a blank box, then it's going to be one of the small number of resistors that you get. As far as the others, you get a whole string of them, because they're all exactly the same value. You can see the construction of it: short standoff, long standoff, screws in the bottom, screw at the top to hold on the acrylic sheet. As I say, this acrylic sheet is one I made myself instead of the smoked glass effect one. And yeah, let's have a look at the daughter board, which is the only other area that you need to think about, and that's where the power goes into the device. Now, I made a huge mistake when I made this. You can see at either end of the board there is a connector standoff to rise the daughter board off the main board, and you can see these pins that it wait, what? This looks like Alexa's having a go at me. So you can see you've got the standoff pins there, or whatever you want to call them, which plug into these. Unfortunately, what I did is instead of soldering them in on the component side, I did it on the tracing side, which means that that was actually sticking down this way, which meant I had to desolder the whole flipping lot, and that was a nightmare. So don't make my mistake by doing that. The standoffs go on the component side. Now, as far as components are concerned, the resistors, I think, are all exactly the same value on this board. You've got plus and minus marked for the electrolytic capacitors, and you know, on these, the capacitors, is there another one here I can show you? Is that one there? Yeah, negative is shown on the actual electrolytic capacitor itself. You can see the minus sign on that grey strip there. So that goes on the minus sign of the electrolytic capacitor screen printing, which I don't think you can see so well here on that one, but you can certainly see it. Actually, you can't see it on this one either. That plus and minus is for the power supply. Forget that. You'll find that underneath the part of the screen printing is hashed or greyed out, if you like, and that will be the negative side. You've got the infrared receiver, and you can see how you have to bend it like that, because that goes through this hole here, so it can see your remote control. You've got a little crystal there, and you've got a bigger crystal there. These two are 30 picofarad ceramic capacitors, and I can't remember the value of these, but these are 30 puff, and this is 104, I think. Yeah, it says 04, but it's actually 104. So as long as you get these in the right place, then these two are the two you got left over. And the rest of it, these chips are all different sizes, so you can't get them in the wrong place. Obviously, make sure you've got the indent matched on the indent on the chip is matched to the indent on the screen print, as you can see down there. And that's the same for them, either all of them. You can see that one there as well. It shows the indent on the screen printing and the indent on the chip, and likewise there. CR2025 battery. Be warned, these batteries are not particularly good. They do run out fairly quickly. Certainly the ones on the remote control seem to just die out quite quickly, so it's worth putting a good quality battery in there, and it will last. On this one, this battery is just for the backup for the time if you lose power, and obviously I've done that because I've unplugged it. And that is all she wrote, really. It's all very, very straightforward. It's all through hole components. As I say, this is just a bit of Captain tape. You could use insulation tape if you wanted to. Same purpose, just to avoid any risk of it shorting out on the metal case. And all in all, a very, very pleasurable kit to put together. It's easy, but it takes quite a while, because as you can see there, that is a lot of soldering. That is a lot of soldering. But once you get that right, then all's good. The thing to bear in mind is that obviously all the LEDs, as indeed every LED is, it has an anode and a cathode, a positive and a negative, so you've got to get those the right way around. And you can kind of see there's a line here on each one, and that will be the negative side. It's not a negative sign, as you know, a plus or minus sign. It's just that the symbol of an LED has that line there, so you can easily tell that's going to be the cathode. You can actually see it a little bit better on that one there, I think. But yeah, make sure you get those the right way around, otherwise you'll have some problems. The only problem I had with it is that when I put it together, I forgot to put that resistor in, and that LED wouldn't work. These are all, I guess, current limiting resistors for each LED. So that's what they do. And the resistors of different value, like the ones I talked about there, I guess are to do with the connection with the daughter board, which is this one here. As far as connecting this up, the thing to note on here is that there is a little, I've got it covered, see if I can peel that off. But yeah, you can probably see that arrow there. Let's peel this back of it. Yeah, there you go. You can see that arrow, and that matches up with the arrow on the main board, so you get it the right way around. So I don't know if I can do this, I'm looking through the camera. So yeah, there we go, it's going to go that way around. So when it goes down like that, that arrow and that arrow meet up, so it goes that way around. So can I plug this in whilst I'm looking through the camera? Probably not, so I'll take it to one side a second while I do that. Come on. Right. I think that's in. So it just plugs in like that. And have I got it upside down? No, I haven't. You can see I put a knot in the cable, and that's just to provide strain relief on the cable should it get pulled, so it's not going to pull out of the back of the daughter board and pull the power supply up. These are quite thin cables. You might find a better USB cable. All you need is the positive and negative lines. You can cut off all the data lines, obviously, of a USB cable if it's got data lines on it. Some USB cables are designed just for providing power. But let's plug this back in, and there we go. And it's still kept the same time because it's got that battery backup. And if I move that away, you can see. Oh, hang on a minute. Have I got a missing digit there? Is that? Oh, I seem to have a dodgy connection, which doesn't surprise me because, yeah, there we go. That is a consequence of getting those risers incorrectly. Have I plugged that in correctly? Ooh, I don't know, have I? Thought I might have a pin out there somewhere. Oh well. Yeah, so these risers got a bit destroyed because I had to apply so much heat to them to get the damn things off that the actual things fell apart and the pins came apart, and I didn't have any spare risers I could use. So well, perhaps I'll get some, but it is working, as you can see. That's the only mistake I made on this. Of course, the other thing is that if you've got a supply of LEDs of similar value but with different colours, you could put your own LEDs in there, or even buy different ones and make it colourful if you wanted to, if you were so inclined. They do a yellow one, and as I say, it's a fairly therapeutic kit to put together. So I might just get one because, you know, I think these cost about £15, and you get a couple of evenings entertainment out of it for 15 quid. That's not bad these days, and you end up with something to show for it at the end, which is, you know, true for all of these kits. But what I liked about these, inspired by this one here, is how robust they are and how easily readable they are. And you know, as I say, this one's been running for ages and it's absolutely brilliant. And if you get an LED blowout, it doesn't matter. You get spare LEDs with it. They always give you more LEDs than you need. So even if you did have an LED fail, which is pretty unlikely in most cases, you're going to have some spares to put in there. So yeah, that's a bit dodgy. I need to do some work on that connection. It's obviously looking a bit, it's not come across or being put together, or fixed rather, repaired properly. So the connections ain't great, so that's my fault, unfortunately. Other than that, great kit. So I'll put a link in the description for it, and I'll also try and link in the build instructions for it, so you can have a look at that before you decide to buy one, if indeed you do. But with that, that's all I've got on this one. So I hope you enjoyed the vid, and we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers for now.